Hi everybody, this is the Patriot, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion. Your host, and welcome back to the Patriot, and hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. So we're talking about, we have this, the cities are all like, crime-ridden, and it's out of control. It's been out of control for the last 3 or 4 years. I can remember going into New York City 10 years ago and not being accosted by anybody or worry about anything. I used to be able to walk from Times Square all the way to the Javits Center and no problems. Walk on 42nd Street, after our concert in Roseland, no problem. But obviously it's bad in New York and a lot of other cities, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Anywhere there's a city, anywhere that has a Democrat running it, it's a problem. Now, President Trump put in the National Guard, federalized the police in the District of Columbia, and of course it's a federal city, so he has the ability to do that. Now there's talk that he might go to other places, but the Democrats, they do the opposite of what the right thing is now. They don't cheer, children that have cancer at the State of the Union. They don't support the police. They support criminals. They support illegals coming in here that break the law and just suck the life out of the country. Well, the media obviously are part of that. They all are in bed with the Democrat Party. They all are part of, they all go back and forth. They're either in the party or they go and they work from the media. It's very incestuous, and we should have a law that you can't do both in your life. Sorry. It's corruption beyond belief. But anyway, the Sunday shows were a good example of the insanity. And not too many people watch it, but I saw these articles, and a whole bunch of articles. And this is from newsbusters.org. Headline, ABC's Jon Karl blames Trump for Democrat meltdown over D.C. crime. Again, they do the opposite. He wants to rid the country of crime, wants to rid the city of crime, and they are for it. I mean, if they're fighting him, they must be for the crime. Don't you think? There was quite the revealing moment. It was quite the revealing moment during the panel discussion on Tuesdays this week on ABC, in the midst of a discussion on crime in Washington, D.C. The host, Jon Karl, could not bring himself to recognize the Democrats are on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue, which is crime, instead shifting blame to a familiar boogeyman. Karl blames President Donald Trump for the left's ongoing meltdown over the ongoing federal takeover in the nation's capital. I'm going to read you a transcript from what happened on the Sunday show. Ramesh Panaru said this: there is an element of this with Trump setting a trap for Democrats. The Democrats are walking into the trap. There's no trap. He's doing what everybody wants. People want to be able to go in a city and not have to worry about getting robbed, murdered, or carjacked. Rachel Bates said this: yeah. Panaru then said this: when Democrats argue, actually statistically crime's a little bit down since 2023, and they don't acknowledge that crime has always been high. Jon Karl said this: but Trump draws them in by saying things that just aren't true. I mean, Trump is not telling the truth about the crime stats. It's like they use one stat and they don't use the whole picture. Murders are done. In the 8 days that they have taken over Washington, there's been no murders. No murders. Panaru said this: hey, look, Bade, crime stats might be down, but there is this still. And they start talking. Panaru says that there are many cases in which Trump lies even more than, again, they cross-talk. Karl says, no question, but he says this is the worst ever. And Panaru says, but the Democrats handle it also matters. And they are making themselves look more out of touch with the way they respond to it. Absolutely. But they're out of touch. And they've been out of touch for a long time. Bates said this: yeah, you also just have to open your eyes. I mean, look, D.C. looks a lot different than it used to. I mean, I used to live here. I moved because my house got robbed. My car got stolen. And this was before it got bad. So, I mean, there's that element of it. Carl said this. Okay, so, and by the way, I'm old enough to have been here in the 90s when it was actually really, really bad. I don't know what his definition of really bad. When people get murdered, and in these cities, most cities are African American, and African American. All the people that are in the cities, they all love this. People in D.C., they love it. They're so happy that the crime has stopped. I mean, yeah, and so many of these people, so many Democrats said, well, only 9 people got arrested. Trump has said about 1,000 people got arrested. And they stopped a lot of little crimes. The little crimes is what escalates things. We learned that in New York in the 90s with Rudy Giuliani. That crime, if you stop little crimes, that will prevent the big crimes from happening. Because it's an escalation. The criminal always escalates their crime, always escalates the attack. Carl's first instinct is to blame Trump for the Democrats' woes, not the fact that they've landed yet again on the 20% of another 80-20 issue. But, quote, but Trump lies, end quote, as opposed to any acknowledgement of what has been a problem in the nation's capital for a very long time. They're saying that he lies about these little things. Well, crime is down overall, but murders are up. They don't say murders. And murders are out of control in Chicago, by the way. It's most notable that Carl swears Trump is lying about the crime rate, but does not acknowledge that there is an ongoing debate about the veracity of the crime data presented by Washington, D.C. In fact, a Metro Police commander was recently suspended for manipulating crime data. To this day, the legacy media have not referenced that suspension beyond a brief acknowledgement by Gay Gutierrez at the NBC Nightly News. The legacy media remain committed to burying the federal law enforcement takeover at the nation's capital, even as D.C. enjoys a 9-day murder-free streak. It's now 10 days, excuse me. Reflexive opposition, even if it means taking the 20 on an 80-20 issue. I mean, they will go at this as long as Trump is for it. If Trump's for it, they're against it, and that does not help you get elected. You have to tell people what you're for. But the problem with the Democrats now is the things they are for are so horrific that Trump has twisted them. He's twisted them for 10 years because he shines a light on them, and he's twisted them so badly that they admit what they're for. They're for crime. They admit to open borders. They admit to sort of complete total insanity, all kinds of drug use, and what's going to happen is this was a trial to see what could happen with the National Guard going into a city. Trump wants to go into Chicago next, and he's already getting pushback from the governor there of the state. And that guy, Trump, what he said about him was terrible and funny too. And of course, that mayor there is a complete total deranged lunatic. And they all go to the same things, all racism. It's a bunch of nonsense. Most of the people that are dying in these cities are all black. Chicago has, the murder rate is just insane. The crime rate is all insane. And all of it, 99% of it is black on black crime. That's the issue as well. I mean, you want visitors to go in there, but the crime is usually within the inner city. It's usually within these communities that are minority. Hispanics get killed, they get shot, they get robbed. And to be honest with the Democrats in these cities, they just don't care. They just want that power. They want it. That's also another part of the whole thing with the immigration as well, is they want these new voters to replace us, everybody, all Americans, so they can have this forever power. Well, you let me know what you think about this video, and of course, please subscribe to the Patriot Hut, and I'll see you later.